was the 4th of July, is the 4th of July a celebration of an unnecessary, perhaps vilely rooted revolution? I'll leave that for your consideration. But the important thing is your freedom, our freedom. Trump, with his misguided tariffs, declared a second Independence Day. But what would it mean to declare an Independence Day in your life, in my life? It's what my channel's all about. It's what this podcast's all about. It's why we're going into investing. But you can't be totally free unless you escape the traps. Even wealthy people are beholden to traps. And I just want to go a little bit into this book, How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World, by the great libertarian candidate for president, Harry Browne. There are many traps, guys, and we put ourselves into this trap. It's like every motivational speaker and self-help speaker in history has talked about the elephant who is guarded in his place by this wood stake. Of course, when he was a baby, they put him on this wood stake, and he was small and he could not escape from it. And as he grew up, he simply became accustomed to the fact that he could not escape that wood stake, and so he stayed on there. Many of us stay tied to that wood stake all our lives. It's from past traumas. It's from things that we learned when we were children, but we've never released them. On our channel, we talk about methods to release it, and perhaps we'll discuss these in another podcast. But it's very simple. You observe your emotions, you allow them to flower, and you allow them to pass through you, and you release them, and then you're free. You're free to pursue what you want. There are a lot of traps. We think, oh, we can't do this because society doesn't allow it. Oh, my family would never approve of this. These are all traps. And Harry Browne talks about, he says, identity traps. There are two identity traps. The belief that you should be someone other than yourself, and the assumption that others will do things the way you would. Abraham Hicks talks about the art of allowing. You have to live the way you want, and you have to allow others to live the way they want. That's living free. And on our channel and through these podcasts, we'll talk about a model for you building a free life, because it's not only freedom from a job and a boss, which is foundational, which is huge, but the first freedom starts within freedom within yourself. I still see so many employees, guys. I see high-paid employees, quote-unquote educated employees, who still feel like tied to their job, and they say, well, I'm supposed to do this. There's no supposed to. You're not owing any sort of loyalty to people who you work for. You're doing it because it's necessary now, but a lot of people don't speak their truth because they think, oh, it's improper to do something for someone that I work for. Who put this person over you as a boss? The only reason they're a boss is because they have an economic advantage over you. But a lot of these people, even when they get an economic advantage, they're still tied down to a boss. If you're tied down to a boss and you have loyalty to a boss, you will never be free. You have to be mentally free before you can be physically free. He talks about how you're different. It's a beautiful book, ladies and gentlemen. And what he goes into the fact that, first of all, you build your personality as a free personality. You cut these ties with others, whether it be family members, whether it be leaders, whether it be political leaders, religious leaders, organized religion, which is a huge one. And you establish that you are enough. One of the drawbacks of organized religion, and believe me, I've been in my share of organized religions, is that they're constantly telling you you're not enough. Of course, every religion has a spiritual core that is valid and is beautiful, and it will make you free. It's called the perennial philosophy. But the structures of these religions are built by a priesthood basically to be gatekeepers between you and this knowledge. It's like the tree of good and evil. But once you get this knowledge, you realize who you are and you are free. So it leads you to question, why are there gatekeepers? So to me, organized religion has just become a hollow shell. We have to find the spirituality which is behind these organized religions. That will make you free. But if you're beholden to an organized religion, I've just become soured on religious people, because in the world, the shall we say, the circles that I swim in, I see so many religious people who are unhappy. I see so many religious people who are depending on chemicals and drugs. I see so many religious people who are in therapy. And if you have the truth, you would not be in therapy. You would not be unhappy. And of course, this is not medical advice, but I've known people who've been in therapy for 20 years and it doesn't seem that they change. And I think they don't change because the therapist will just let them air their grievances and listen to them, but they won't tell them that you have to be independent of the outer world. You cannot expect the outer world to conform to what you want. Of course, it will conform once you discover who you are, but you cannot depend on the outer world. I see so many people in therapy who depend on the outer world. I see so many religious people who depend upon the outer world. Well, this just lost its purpose, guys. So you have to claim your own divinity. You have to claim your own freedom. You have to declare your own independence. And the most powerful part of this book by Harry Browne is where he talks about getting yourself out of a trap. A lot of us are in boxes, whether it's marriage, whether it's an abusive family situation, whether it's a job that we don't like, and we can't seem to get out of those boxes. What Harry Browne teaches us to do is, and what many self-help authors taught us to do, and spiritual writers, you first ask yourself, what's the price I have to pay? There's always a price for your freedom. There's always a price that you can pay to get free. Now, that's not to say that you have to pay it. And this can get very metaphysical, and I talk about that in my other videos. But just from a very hard-nosed, practical perspective, what's the price I have to pay? Well, it might be that I have to spend 8 hours a day looking for another job. Or it might be I have to go and try to develop this skill so that I can have another income stream. Or part of it may be I have to move into this apartment with a roommate. So what you do is you recognize that cost. And then you resolve to pay it. And you sort of figure out how you're going to pay it, or how you're going to make yourself be able to pay it by whittling it down a little bit. Well, I can do this to make it easier. I can maybe take another job to make this easier. So what we call on our channel, and many other videos we've called, smoothing out the film roll that you're on. And so then you're ready to pay that price. And you pay that price and you realize you're out of that box. And that's real growth. That's the essence of this book called How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World. I'd recommend all of you read it. If you're going to celebrate an Independence Day, especially a fake Independence Day, it's okay to celebrate. I mean, it's fun to go to fireworks and stuff, but just know that it's all a game that's just being played by the elites to think, oh, we're a country and so on and so forth. There's no country or nation state. We're all one global people. We're all one global citizenry. The Stoics knew this. The great philosophers knew this. It's called cosmopolitanism. And that's not to advocate for a one world order. Absolutely not. We still have autonomy, but we know that we're not separate from other people. But if you want to celebrate independence, guys, celebrate your own independence. Celebrate your own freedom and have the courage, have the resolve to go within and figure out what is preventing you from stepping into your freedom. But before that, pour yourself another drink, have fun. You can watch another insomnia podcast or some other videos on YouTube. Have a good time. If you went to fireworks, hope you had a good time. I hope you guys have a very safe, wonderful holiday. It is July 4th, 2025. I am the real Javier Novoa. You are watching the Javier Novoa podcast, aka the Insomnia podcast. Thanks for watching, guys. If you appreciate this material, please do hit the subscribe button, like the videos, share the videos, and I will see you tomorrow night. Stay safe, stay free.